Hello again and welcome to DanWhiteBooks, the book review channel where we add insight into the worlds of literature, both for those who do read and those who don't. My apologies for the long delay between this video and the last. I've had plenty of reading to do, but unfortunately my laptop had died, so I've been struggling to post videos. But we're back today with a lesser known book from a well-known author, and that is Firestarter by the master of horror and suspense, Mr. Stephen King. If you've never read a Stephen King book before, I would certainly recommend picking one up. He's an author with a wide range of novels touching in several different genres, some overlapping within multiple different categories. Most people assume he only writes horror, but that is far from the truth. In fact, I dare to say his best books, at least personally for me, are the ones where suspense and intrigue play a greater role than the mere effect of horror alone. Firestarter tells the tale of Andy McGee and his daughter Charlie and focuses on a long journey of survival. Right from the get-go, the novel puts you in the thick of the action, and it may at first seem a little disorientating, but slowly the pieces come together. And as you read on, you gain further knowledge about the situation you're suddenly thrust into. King does what he is adored for in making this tale incredibly readable and not short of action and drama. It flows and keeps your eyes stuck to the page. The structure of this novel has you at one point in time before jumping back to earlier points in the characters' lives to add further details which may prey on your mind. Issues like how and why are slowly answered throughout flashbacks in the book. To summarise, Charlie is a very special individual, a girl who has the power to start fires at her own will. However, she has little control of them when they begin. She is only 8 years old and is often described as having pigtails in her hair. However, despite her described innocence, she is pursued recklessly by an underground US government agency known as The Shop. The Shop are ruthless in their approach and show no regard for morals, freedoms, civil rights or much else. They intend to capture Charlie to harness her potential as a weapon for the United States government, and they have little to no limitations on how they choose to do this. Her father struggles to keep her safe as they flee across the country with agents not far behind. You later learn of how Charlie inherited her abilities due to her father and mother's participation in a brutal psychological experiment with the use of dangerous chemicals back when they were in university. Andy himself has the power of suggestion and can make people act in certain ways. However, his ability has a cool-off period, and if overused, can be fatal to his health. That there sets the backdrop for this tale, and for the first half it's go, go, go. The two central characters are developed well and stick to your side. You feel for them as they endlessly flee from a danger which is completely unknown from the outside world. King loves to play with the mystique of hidden mental abilities, especially in children, and this novel slots straight into that theme without running away from itself. Despite being action-packed at the start, the story does slow down towards the middle, but then concludes with quite a bang, which is satisfying but very predictable, at least on the vague assumption of each character's fate. The main antagonist comes later in the book, named John Rainbird, and fits the bill of evil particularly well. He manipulates characters to his will, especially Charlie, who in a time of desperation is seeking someone like-minded. Rainbird's real intentions, of course, are much more sinister. Firestarter is certainly an engaging book and will fulfill the joys of any Stephen King fan, and would also make a great start for those unfamiliar with his work. It's odd to say, and pardon the pun, but there is a certain spark missing from this book that makes it fall short of the greats in King's repertoire, well-known books like Misery and It. This one is not. In comparison, Firestarter is a rather simple book and does not go into mass amounts of detail, but gives enough to paint a strong picture of events while still maintaining interest. I feel I may be biased of Stephen King books due to the amount I have read. However, I'm not saying this is a bad book by any stretch. Simply, in the standard of Stephen King, it's not his best. And so with that in mind, I would rate Firestarter a 78 out of 100, and would certainly still recommend you read it. If you've never read a Stephen King book before, you probably think this book's a lot better than that, to be honest. I feel I'm just making a comparison to his other works. This book is still a great book. It's got you turning the pages, it's action-packed, it's satisfying, but when we compare it to other works by Stephen King, of which I've read many, although there are still a few greats I haven't yet come around to reading. This book sadly is not quite to that level, but nonetheless a great read and certainly something I would recommend. My friends, thank you again for coming here and watching DanWhiteBooks and this book review. I'm hoping to do more content on this channel in the coming days and weeks, hoping to do more than just book reviews, but perhaps discussions and many other topics of interest. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe below, and I will see you here again soon for another book related video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.